You could say that this fall in the lawn has been a complete disaster, which is discouraging because it was such a great season through the spring and summer, but sometimes things just don't go your way no matter how well you have it planned out. Some things are just out of your control, and that's okay. But with that said, there was one bright shining star of this fall that makes everything else go away. And we'll talk about that in just a second. Fall lawn care, bermudagrass, some things we must do to get ready for our lawns to go dormant for the winter, and some things that we kind of worry about this time of year. But sometimes our worry is unfounded because it's really not that big of a deal if you ask me. Like armyworms. I saw some this year and I kind of thought I might have some. When you start looking up underneath things, like right there and right there, or on your window screens or up underneath your soffits of your house, maybe you have some sunshades over your patio and you see this little like milky white stuff, kind of looks like eggs. Those are usually armyworm eggs. And sure, you can do the Dawn dish soap and water test to pour over the ground to see if armyworms come up, but there's no better way to know that you have them other than seeing them. And I saw some this year, but not enough to like sound the alarm. Not a major infestation, didn't really see much in the way of damage, but I knew I had some. But as long as they're not hurting anything, I just let it go. But I could have controlled that, I suppose, but two things that I can't control, which have just been pathetic this fall, is the weather in the way of rain and temperatures. Looking at the lawn right now and looking back at what it looked like at the exact same time last year, night and day difference. All the way into November last year, we were hanging on to some incredible color. We had warm temperatures, plenty of rainfall. This year, hot temperatures, zero rainfall. My allergies are letting me know every single day. We have not had but about 1/10 of an inch of rainfall since August, folks. It's mid-October. Our temperatures has been into the low to mid 90s. That's 10 to 15 degrees above average. Some cool nights, but we still have not gotten our first frost or freeze, which is usually around the 15th of October every year. But it does look like one is really close on the horizon, at least a chance. And that's why I've done one of my most important money-saving things of the fall. I've taken down my rain gauge. If you're like me and you have one of those cheap $6 Accurite plastic rain gauges and you see a potential frost or freeze in your forecast, go ahead and take that in, because if there's any moisture and it freezes at all, that thing's going to crack and you're going to be out $6. Oh, it's only $6. Yeah, well, $6 is $6 if you ask me, and I would rather save it. The drought and the temperatures have this lawn looking like it's already had a frost or a freeze, but nope. 1/10 of an inch of rain over the last 8 to 10 weeks, not gonna cut the mustard. And look, I got out here and I was watering once, twice a week, trying to maintain my normal season practices full steam ahead, but there's only so much you can do. And I am not going to fight it hardcore right here before the end of the season to hold on just a little bit longer. It's just not that important to me. Now I get it, like, look, you're gonna say, well, what you do now determines how things turn out in the spring. That is right. But if things don't turn out just right in the spring, I'm okay with the little extra hard work to get it whipped back into shape. Flower bed's looking good though. I guess you could call this a evergreen bed, shrub bed, perennial bed. The plants have really started to slow down. Shorter growing days, less sunshine, no rain. Just kind of letting them do their thing right now. And we'll be adding to the mulch space because we still have a lot of it we'll do that next season. I can only do so much. This was 38 plants right here. And despite these wide-eyed plans to do more this year, just not in the cards. All right, so we're not looking the way we want to. What did I do or could I have done to change things? Probably not much different. I got in all my normal fall lawn care tasks. I got my last round of fertilizer in the first week of September. Nice little dusting of 10-10-10, something was just left over in the garage from previous seasons. Only about a half a pound of nitrogen per 1,000 square feet. If you are a Bermudagrass lawn owner, do not need a lot of nitrogen going into the off season. If you're cool season, totally different ball game. Your task in the fall will be much different than mine. But I did get that last round of fertilizer down, and I also got my pre-emergent down around the 3rd week of September. Thought I had timed that perfectly. 80% chance of rain for like 3 days straight, and I have never seen such a pathetic output on such a good chance of rainfall in my life. That's the 1/10 of an inch we got. We were forecasted to get an inch, inch and a half maybe, over the course of a couple days, and we got a 1/10 of an inch. Yippee! So that pre-emergent that I needed watered in did not get watered in by Mother Nature. I had to get out here and water it in myself. Nonetheless, we got that taken care of. And you want to get that pre-emergent down this time of year because that will help you prevent the POA annua that you might usually deal with as temperatures start warming up towards springtime. Germinates now, you see it in the lawn in the spring. It's an eyesore sticking out of this brown dormant Bermuda grass. So get that pre-emergent down now if you have not already. If you have not gotten a fall round of fertilizer down on Bermuda grass, for most folks, it's too late. Don't worry about that. Maybe if you're much further south, you could still get that down. But for most of us, you have missed that window. Mowing. Look, I held on for as long as I could. I kept up my twice a week mowing. Once during the week, once on the weekend. But this will be the first weekend since the spring that I will not mow at all. It just hasn't done anything. I mowed a week ago today, and it looks exactly the same. Shorter days, less sunshine, some cool nights, no rain. It's not doing a whole lot right now. All we're doing is picking up leaves that are coming off the trees because everything is so dry. So as the growth of the grass slows, I've cut the mowing back the last couple weeks to once a week, and now I'm down to 0 times a week. About any mowing I'll be doing from now on will just simply because I want to pick up some leaves. So the mulch or the bag on the mower and suck those up and keep them out of the way, especially now that I've got some plants in the mulch. I'm trying to keep all that stuff leaf free. Watering, I am done. I've already emptied the hoses out, cleaned the sprinklers up. Everything is put up for the season. So the fall has been not according to plan, but one plan, if you follow this channel at all over the last year, one plan finally became accomplished. Hugo the armadillo has been caught. And I tried all fall last year to track this sucker down. Apparently I didn't give him enough credit. I said armadillos were dumb, and he made me regret that, because he was not. Apparently this was the smartest armadillo on the face of the earth. But this year I went a step further, and I was bound and determined to catch that little sucker. So here's how I did it. I got a trap down there. You see it? Down in the corner. I saw him twice. I didn't see him. I saw evidence of him twice. And when you see evidence of them, maybe they're coming in under a fence here or down there, you can see dig marks, holes dug in your lawn, mulch disturbed where they're digging for the little critters that they like to eat. well, I kind of had to figure out his pattern. Where was he coming in? Where was he leaving? So to do that, I got me 3 little motion alarm sensors right here. I have one here. There's one right there. Because they're coming in from the brush. You can see back there they're putting in a subdivision, unfortunately. We went from cow pasture, hay bales, quite the view, to now somebody's backyard's going to be right there. But in an area like we live in Northwest Arkansas, what do you expect? Everything's going to be houses for too long. So I've got one sensor down that way, and then there's another one right here, and then a third one, because really what I was worried about most was I wanted to make sure he didn't tear up any of the newly planted plants from the spring, because they will uproot these suckers looking for food. And there's my third one down there. You better have some patience, because I would see evidence of him for like maybe once every 3 or 4 weeks. But I finally saw him with my eyes. That little alarm inside that is triggered by all these sensors would wake me up at all times of night, early in the evening, just after sundown, early in the morning, midnight. And I would get up out of bed so I could try to get eyes on him to see where he was coming and going from. Unfortunately, a lot of times it might be a field mouse, it might be a frog, it might be a moth, something else setting those off. But I knew I just had to stick to it. I had to stick to the plan. And one night, the alarm went off, and then it went off again. And that was the first time that had happened. Because usually a frog or something will set it off once, and then it's over with. But this time, it went off twice, back to back. And I looked out this back window, and there he was coming in underneath that fence right there. Right there. And he started meandering down this way, but I spooked him off, so he ran back through that fence and then back into the brush. And I thought, okay, well, you know what? I spooked him off. That's okay. It's not that big of a deal. As long as he doesn't tear anything up in the mulch, I'm fine. He can live to see another night. Well, about 30, 45 minutes later, the alarm went off again. Twice. And he was going back out that way. So I was like, where the heck did he go? What did he do? I peeked out my front door, and you could still see kind of like some remnants of some dig marks right there. He had dug up this whole part of the front yard and in the mulch right there. You can see where it's a little bit smoother because I tidied it up a little bit. But I guess what he had done, he outsmarted me. He outsmarted me. What he had done is he had gone back in the brush, up there, down the neighbor's fence line, to the house next door where there's not a fence, come around their house, meandered his way up through here, tore all this up, went in the mulch, worked his way back down here, came up this way, and I could tell where he had dug right there. All the stuff was like pulled out that way. I had his path now. I knew his trail. I knew that if he came back one more time, this was the second time I had seen evidence of him this year, that if he came back one more time, he was a dead man walking, or at least a trapped man walking. Last Saturday night, a week ago, I woke up, went and checked my front flower bed because I knew that was his like place to eat, and it was all torn up. I ran through the house, this way, looked over here from here, bam, armadillo in the trap. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. He made one too many trips to Casa de Feltner, and he was sitting right here in this trap. He had torn this sucker up. Like when I got the trap without him in it to reset it, it was all bent up and out of whack. I had to like take some needle nose pliers and a screwdriver and a hammer to kind of bend some metal back into place just to get it reset. But I did not kill him. I trapped him. I followed Arkansas ordinances. I had a friend that had some private land that gave me permission to go release him over there. So I took him over there, and she was kind enough to wait till later on that evening after the sun went down, because they don't do well in the daylight. They can't see. And she let him out later on that evening after dark and brought my trap back to me, and all's well that ends well. I am Hugo free. Knock on wood. Knock on wood, because there's very well could be another one lurking out there that is listening right now and saying, that was my daddy, that was my mama, whatever it was, and I'm coming for you. But at this point in time, the armadillo has been caught. I have caught 4 moles this season that were tearing up the mulch. If you want to see how I do that, I'll leave a link down in the description below. But if you want to catch an armadillo, you need to get a trap, find out its patterns at night, which means you kind of got to be awake and see it. So an alarm set up like I've got might help you do that. You're going to lose some sleep, but you'll lose less sleep and less time than having to wake up and then repair all the damage that they can cause in your lawn. All right, it's getting long-winded. I don't care. Look, I'm going back to some of these walk and talks for you. I miss them. I wasn't having a whole lot of fun as YouTube videos, and well, it was really my fault, was making them much bigger tasks than they should be. Productions, writing scripts, editing, that whole shebang. I just want to get on here and talk to you folks from time to time and tell you how much I appreciate your support of this channel. For those of you that are looking for more tutorial, me sitting here and telling you or showing you how to do things, look, we can do that too. But this is more about just talking about lawn care. And if I do it that way, I can come to you more often and not leave you hanging as long as I have over the past several months. So give me your feedback on this style. If this is what you would like to see, if you want to see something different. Here's the one thing I ask you not to do. Don't whine. No whining allowed. I don't care about whining. You can whine all you want. Oh, you're a whiner, Travis. Yeah, I probably whine about things, but I'm the one making the videos, okay? Sometimes I make these videos kind of vent or just let out what's inside. So it's therapeutic just as much as lawn care is. Making videos is therapeutic, and I want it to be fun. It hadn't been fun here lately, but I'm back with this one. I hope you enjoyed it. It's going to wrap it up right here. Thanks for joining me on Budget Lawns. I'll see you next time.